Okay, so we just talked about milta de shtuta, and it bothered me a lot. Something silly, something shtus. Something shtus. Shtut is craziness. What is Rabbi Nachman telling us to do something crazy? Chas v'shalom. Ein adam chot ele nichnas bo ruach shtut. A person's the whole chet comes from the Gemara says a person only sins if they have a moment of craziness. So what is this about? The person first of all, so we said it's a joke. It means a little bit of a humor, as the Rebbe said in the end here. He said here. You could come to Simcha through being a little bit silly. You can make yourself not so important, even foolish, dancing a little bit, clapping, dancing in shul, which is a big deal. In the right time, not to hurt other people, not to stop traffic, chas v'shalom, not to cause other people suffering. However, to be yourself happy, and this is how you come to Simcha. So the source of this is the Zohar. In Parshat Tazria, I lost the place. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what page is it? Lamed Vav. Okay, Lamed Vav. Here, Tazria Lamed Vav. Okay, Baruch Hashem. So there's a pasuk in. Let's start from Kuf Bet. It says here, Tana sheyesh yitron lechachma stam. There's a, because this Zohar is talking about before, it's Psukim in Kohelet, where it says in Kohelet, yesh yitron lechachma min hasichlut. There's a benefit of chachma over sichlut. Means sichlut mamish, from foolishness. There's a chachma, wisdom over foolishness. Foolishness mamish. There's a benefit over chachma. Because if there wouldn't be silliness in the world and foolishness, it wouldn't have shleimut for the chachma. So there wouldn't be completion for chachma. V'tana chiyuva al barnash de oliv chachmata lemilif ze'er min shtuta. So there should be a little bit of silliness. A little bit of silliness. Okay. And there's a benefit to chachma from a little bit of silly shtuta, which means comedy. The same way there's a benefit for light from choshech, of dark. So we know a person's choteh from milta de shtut, from ruach shtut, from foolishness, from silliness, from craziness. That's craziness is what a person sins. But the little bit is good for chachma. The same way the darkness is good for light. Because it wouldn't be for darkness. I would not know what light is. There would be no benefit to the light because I wouldn't know what anything else is. It's the darkness that allows us to know the light. Tana sheyesh yitron lechachma lechachma stam dam Rabbi Shimon Rabbi Abba Tachazi Raza Damila lo ner chachma dileela v'lo nahir. Ela begins shtuta the itar ma'atar achra. The light is the chachma is only recognized from a little bit of shtut. V'ilmale hai nehiru v'rabus sagya yatir lo hava. And if it wouldn't be for the big light, it allows it to exist. It gives it a shleimut. If it wouldn't be for the foolishness, we wouldn't understand wisdom. Begin to shtute yatir nehir and leyatir. This is the benefit. This is the plus of chachma. For stam chachma means sichlut stam. For plain foolishness versus plain chachma, chachma is much better, of course. But if it wouldn't be for shtuta, but if it wouldn't be for the foolishness, if we wouldn't see it in the world, we wouldn't recognize what chachma is. V'hainu de Rav Hamnuna Saba, and this is Rav Hamnuna Saba. So what is this milta, the shtuta, this silliness that helps chachma? Because it can't be chas v'shalom doing averot. So what is it? This is Rav Hamnuna Saba. The chachmata, when he was teaching, when they were learned together with the secrets of wisdom, have a mesader kamayo pirka de mil shtuta. He would order in front of them a few jokes. Begin because that way there'll be benefit for the chachma. And this is what it says and so the source of this ultimately is in Kohelet. Yakar mechachma umichavot sichlut ma'at. Greater and precious, more precious than chachma and kavod and honor is a little bit of foolishness. Mishum tikuna de chachmata. This fixes, it's a tikkun of chachma. Vayikra de chachma, and it shows the preciousness of chachma. V'aldaktiv libi noag b'chachma le'achaz b'sichlus. So he says here, what's the idea here? Why is it shleimut? Just a little bit of ha'ara. I saw this sefer in Moshe Shatz as a sefer Tarshish as a new sefer Moshe Shatz Shlita, and he explains this idea that is one of the understanding this the pnimiyut of Torah, the secrets of the Torah is idea that there's shleimut, that the shvira happened, and all the destruction, the kilkul happens, the chet of Adam Arishon, all these things come from a breaking of vessels. What's that? It's that there's sfirot, there's chesed and there's gvura. There's loving kindness and there's also gvura, strength and setting boundaries. There's unlimited giving and there's also creating boundaries. Both are emanations from godliness. Both are things of kedusha, but they're opposites. How could it? Because the completion is when the two opposites, if they see each other as opposites, then that's the beginning of Reshut HaRabim, he calls it. That's when we and this is a good segue into the next of Dvar Torah. I have one more after this for Rosh Hashanah. But the two opposites coming together. The guf and the neshama. These are two polar opposites. How do they exist together? Because that's shleimut. That is completion. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. We're the opposite. There's the empty space of Hashem. Whether it's kipshuto or lo kipshuto, we're not gods, chas v'shalom. But Hashem wants His connection to us. This is shleimut. This is the true shleimut of the God's mercifulness, is that He gives to someone to give mercy to someone, and that's us. So when we recognize Hashem and we have emunah, and even in the darkness we recognize Hashem, this is the greatest light. The famous Zohar of Tzadok HaKohen talks about this. There's no light like the calm that comes from darkness. So we see this idea of shtuta, which is the opposite of chachma, but integrating it into learning chachma creates a shleimut of this chachma, because then we can recognize chachma. And it's in a permitted way, obviously, a joke that's permitted. Making a little bit of comedy, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of simcha, a little bit of dancing. And even if it's below your cover, to dance a little bit, just a little bit, to snap at a chatuna. Sometimes it's hard for people to dance. It's important to dance, even if you don't look important. You look foolish. Do it. Go and dance at a wedding. It's very, very important. That integrating that into your life, that shtuta, it's you feel it's silliness, it looks silly, but you integrate that, you create the opportunity, you allow there to be chachma coming. That's called shleimut. Okay. And so let's see what he says here in Likutei Halachot. The source of this idea is in Hilchot Nephilat Apayim, in the Sefer Rabbi Natan, Rabbi Nachman's main student. he took the teachings of Rabbi Nachman and he connected it to all the halachot in Shulchan Aruch. And so in here he talks about the importance of simcha and ot hey. V'zeh b'chinat godel aflagat asimcha me'od shenoagin kol Yisrael b'Purim. This is on Purim. There's a great simcha. La'arbot az b'simcha gdola me'od v'asim kol minei tzchok v'schok. There's no day more where we're involved in milta teshtuta than on Purim, where we're happy and we're laughing and there's jokes. Ki ikar mitzvat Purim is simcha. The main mitzvah Purim is simcha. Va'al kim osim kol minei schok u'milei teshtuta. So there's a time for silliness and wearing masks and making kosher jokes. Va'osim az ma'aseh shichut v'shtut b'shvil simcha. Even drinking. כי איתה בדברי רבינו ז"ל, בכמה מקומות, כמה אזהרות גדולות שצריך אדם להרגיל עצמו להיות בשמחה תמיד. A person has to be happy. Rabbi Nachman was teaching בשמחה תמיד. ואיתה בדבריו הקדושים, and it teaches in Rabbi Nachman's words, his holy words, שאפשר להיות בשמחה קימה על ידי מילי דשטות הדייקה. It's only through matters of silliness or foolishness specifically. How? A person is happy, simple things. He makes him happy with simple things. And even a joke here and there. A little bit of joking. Because the nature of a person is to be depressed. Everyone can be depressed. We have lots of things to be depressed about. So a person has to force himself to be happy. So how does this? The main way is through sometimes being a little bit silly. He said in this in Yiddish, Sehat upon him as meken mer nit freilich sein, nor mit narish machen sich. He would say that some people, he said, you have a face that the only way to be happy is through some silliness. Ki diber od mizeh kama pamim. He spoke about this many times. V'zeh inyan mashu noagin kol hatzadikim agdolim hamefursanim mefursamim shayu b'yaminu shal piro v'aya lehem anashim shayu lehem badchanim. So a lot of rebbes, tzadikim, they have badchanim. We know it's a minhag. It's in the Hasidim and the Ashkenazim. They have comedians. They go to chatunot, they go to weddings, they go around, and they're professional Hasidish comedians. And the rebbes have them. And they would go and make some kosher jokes. It's all to be happy. There's nothing that could damage a person wanting to serve Hashem like depression. Stay away from depression. And from this heavy exile that we've been in, the Jewish people for 2,000 years, beguf v'nefesh v'mamon, with our bodies, with our souls, with our money. We need to be able to joke around a little bit. Not all the time, a little bit, but it's important. This is, so the Gemara of the language of the Gemara, it's milta de b'dichuta, it's laughing, it's literally, it's not shtut, it's a joke. Shayu noagim atanaim v'amorim akdoshim, the Tanaim and Amoraim of the Gemara, of the Mishnah, the Gemara of the rabbis, Hakadoshim of Chazal, Kodem alimud, Kidei lavol simcha, like we saw in the Zohar, Rav Hamnuna Saba, to come to simcha through jokes. Shemile deshtuta daika, before the shiur, they would say a joke. V'zeu b'chinan mat shekatav b'Zohar, Kodesh Rav Hamnuna Saba yamasader kamei chavrei pirka mile deshtuta. And this is the explanation that we just saw in the Zohar, in Parshat Tazria, that Rav Hamnuna Saba would set up jokes before his shiur. Hainu kanal, ki ikar galut Yisrael shu galut ha-Shechina, because the main exile of the Jewish people, which is the exile of the Shechina, ikar galut hu ma she'atzvut shema sitra achura v'aklipot mitgabrim al Yisrael. It's all the depression overwhelms us. And then you can't be happy in serving Hashem. It's all just, chas v'shalom, a person should think that from Jewish people are depressed. What Jewish, who's going to want to, who's going to want this? We have to be happy. It's also other places Rabbi Nachman teaches this. Torah, I think it's Chav Daled. The main exile of the Shechina, which is the Shechina, which is the Simcha of the Jewish people, is depression. The galus is, the exile is when depression overwhelms. When Jewish people are depressed. The main exile of the Shechina and of the Jewish people is that the simcha is in exile, that the joy is in exile. So the ikar galut is, the exile is that we're in, is that the simcha is gone. There's no joy. And memela, if we're not besimcha, where does it go? The simcha goes to Ovdei Avodah Zarah, to Rishaim, halchim b'shirut libam, and they're doing whatever they want. Rachmana litzlan, asher be'emet hem rechokim misimcha amitit, but they're far, far away from true simcha. As it says in Mishlei, it says in Proverbs, chapter 17, Yelech ksil etogalo. A fool goes to his Yelech ksil etogalo. The way of fools. Kikol yamav ka'as u'machovot. His whole life is pain. His whole life is sad, depression. So the Sitra Achra, the other side, the Yetzer Hara, is really about depression. It's Yagon v'anacha, it's all depression. Ach kol ha-simcha sheyesh etzlam nimshach rak. So all the simcha have among all the Rishayim is all from the Galut HaShechina. It's all from the Shechina's in exile. That's the simcha of Yisrael. That's the simcha of the Jewish people is in exile. So when you're going and being, and you make yourself happy, you're bringing kilo the Shechina out of exile. So the sparks of joy that's by the Rishayim and the exile, that's all their simcha, but it's only for a few. It's only temporary, because all the life of the Rishayim, everything is all temporary. It's only a minute in his anger. What does joy do for them? It's a waste. That's what the Kohelet says. Simcha is a waste on Rishayim. So it's a mixed lashon. Any simcha that's not l'shem shamayim, nimshechet rak mu'arbava nitzot simcha shenaf le'adei galut hashchina v'nibar b'neim. If it's not l'shem shamayim, it's just from the galut. It's no good. V'hem apchim u'marim ra b'tov, and they turn bad into good and good into bad. V'lokchim ha'simcha sheba mimakom elyon, and they take simcha that's from high, and they bring it into a low place, into lust and into desires, materialism. That's why all the comedians, what are their ikr jokes? Is all Rahman al-Islan and things that are asr. They're always joking. Don't go to comedians. We have to have kosher comedians because that's why we have kosher comedians, because their comedy is all depression. It's all about znut. It's all about things that are forbidden. Shem yagon v'anacha, it's really depression. Ve'alkin bevadai l'simcha gazot. Ma ze oseh? What does that simcha do? It doesn't. It's not a real simcha. It's from the klipa. It's taken from the Shechina, and it's the galut, and it's giving them chiyut. Ki achirita yagon v'anacha. It's all just depression. That's the Yetzer Hara is all depression. V'achrita simcha tuga. So it's the end. It's not a real simcha. So now that simcha is in galut, So it's clothed in things of the world, materialism. Shem milah d'shtuta. This is the actual matters of silliness. Al ken mishu rotzeh lavo l'simcha. So someone who wants to come to happiness, l'smach b'kedushat yaduto, and to be happy with his Judaism. B'mash zachal liot mizer Yisrael, that he's from the Bnei Yisrael, he's from the Israelites. V'lo asani goy, and I'm not one of the nations. I'm not from the nations. I'm from the Bnei Yisrael. There's impossible to come to simcha through comedy, through matters of silliness. Because that's where the simcha fell, because of the galut of the Shekhinah, the exile of the Shekhinah, God's divine presence. That's our happiness. So that's why the Israelite, the Israeli, the Bnei Israel, when he makes himself happy through matters of silliness, it's made from this a great tikkun. He's lifting up the sparks of the Shekhinah from exile. When it's l'shem shamayim. He's lifting up these sparks of joy from the exile, since he's coming to simcha through specifically the shtutas, through specifically something that's normally, it's analogous to darkness, right? It's shtusa, it's foolishness. But he's bringing it up for Kedusha and entering it into a learning Torah. Because immediately when a Jewish person, when Israel is b'simcha, then he lifts up the simcha, he's lifting up the Shekhinah and his sharash and its source, which is by Yisrael, which is the source of simcha, the true simcha, because Yisrael have to be simcha their whole life. All kinds of simcha, with no end. Because we are zocha. Why? We have emunah in Hashem Yitbarach. We have emunah in Moshe Rabbeinu and Moses, his servant. And the Torah Kedosha, we were given the Torah, which they're all jealous of. Ki mekar nishmat Yisrael, the source of the Jewish people, is simcha, is happiness and joy. That the Shekhinah is the simcha of the Jewish people, of the Bnei Yisrael, the Israel. Shisham shorish nishmatenu, that's the source of our souls. As it says in Yeshayahu, in the Navi, in Yeshayahu, chapter 46, Ha'amusim mine beten anusuim mine rechem. This is from the womb. Shisrael am chilik mashchina. The Jewish people, the Bnei Israel, is a portion of the Shekhinah, which is simcha. By the way, I'm not going to say this, but there was, just to end it off, he explains, this will be for another time, there's a Tehillim Lamed Daled, LeDavid b'shanoto et ta'amo lifnei Avimelech. We know in Navi, David HaMelech, King David, acted as if he was crazy, mamish crazy. So shtuta meaning completely insane. And he wore that completely, it saved his life. But the sod, the pnimiyut of that was what we're talking about here. And maybe another time, Bezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen v'Amen.